Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast episode will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, please do not continue to watch or listen until you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea Podcast. Today, we are covering A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. And those that are watching on video may ask, Alyssa, why is your shirt different? Well, let me tell you, we breaked for lunch and we went to a ramen place called Ramen Hikata.
Messy.
And I apparently spilled spicy ramen all over my shirt, which I don't know how, but I did. It's very messy.
Stuff splatters.
Yeah. Yep.
This is fine.
But yeah.
It was delicious and worth it.
Yes. But anyways, before we go into the review, let's grab our cups and talk about tea. So, I am drinking, this is one of my new favorite teas from the Republic of Tea. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's the Thinking of You tea, and all it is chamomile and peppermint. Though, let me double check. Okay, it does have more. It has peppermint, chamomile, orange peel, creamy French vanilla, and organic wintergreen flavor.
And I am drinking Republic of Tea's honey ginseng green tea. And it has, somewhere over here, green tea, natural flavors, linden blossoms, eleuthero, I guess is how you pronounce it. No idea. And Panax ginseng.
And thank you to the Republic of Tea for allowing us to continue to do what we love. And for our tea sippers out there, brew yourself a cup of tea, sit back, relax, and we hope you enjoy the review. So, this movie follows teens in a psychiatric hospital who, with the help from Nancy Thompson, use their dream powers to fight Freddy Krueger. Lots of F's there. Okay. So, for entertainment, I will say that I was telling Jess whenever I was going through my very early horror movie introduction as a teenager, this was one of the first ones, so it is a little bit nostalgic for me. Why the third movie, do you ask? Well, my mom had a bunch of random recorded VHSs. For all the youngins out there, it's prior to DVDs, so really old. Anyways, me and my friend were just like, oh, let's just, like Nightmare on Elm Street, we weren't familiar with it, and so we just popped it in and watched it, and that's how we watched it. And at the time it was very scary, but it is definitely not scary for me now. Yeah. But, so for entertainment, this one is such a tough one.
I know you're going to have your nostalgia glasses on too.
I think it's probably a 7.25 for me. Like, there's a lot of things I enjoy about this movie, but there are some things that, at least for me, I don't prefer in horror movies. But the thing that I really enjoy about this movie is I like the twist that they're actively, like, controlling their dreams to, like, fight against Freddy. I thought that was a really cool and creative concept, and it was, like, a way for them to feel less like victims and more like just trying to fight back. I just thought that was really fun. Especially, I mean, on the one hand, I feel like it makes the movie less scary because they're in a lot of ways less helpless. But in other ways, it's just like the I am the game wizard or whatever. It's like some of it was silly, but it's also like really fun watching them like get comfortable with their powers and like and playing around with it.
Yeah.
as with most Nightmare on Elm Street movies, I enjoyed the practical effects a lot. Like, especially, the one where Freddy pops out of the TV and grabs her. And then also when he's like a hanging like puppet, and then he comes down that
more,
stop motion.
Stop motion. Yeah.
And then also with the skeleton. I mean, I'm not. I feel like none of these except the puppet were really that scary, but they were done well. Like, I could appreciate it.
I was laughing hysterically at his bones coming up and fighting. It reminded me a lot of Terminator for some reason, but it was so damn funny to me.
I just love how like Freddy like hits him hard, like really good, and he's like, "Okay, I'm done." And then the bone he's like, "Okay, I'm back now, bitch. It's back in the dream world.
I've dealt with my errand."
So yeah, that's a little silly, but
a little.
yeah, it's good. This movie has a lot of silly parts.
Oh yeah.
Especially, I mean, as with any Nightmare on Elm Street movie, there's a lot of puns, but these just feel even more cheesier. Well, like the TV one. He's like, "It's prime time, bitch."
Yeah.
And then he like slams her at the TV. Oh man, there's another one that happened afterwards. Ugh, I can't think of it. But yeah, there's multiple though that you're like, wow, like
what a rush.
Yeah. But
feeling tongue-tied.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what he's known for, but at the same time, I feel like he leaned even more in.
Yeah, it kind of like hurts.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh god,
just the eye rolls.
Cringe.
Oh, yeah. The eye rolls.
Yeah. But I do think this movie is kind of weird because on the one hand, them being able to control their dreams does give them a sense of power that I think makes the movie interesting, but like I said, kind of takes away from the scary part. Yeah. Really, the scary part for me is the fact that they're in the psychiatric hospital and they're not being believed.
Yeah.
That is...
No one's listening.
Yes. Like, especially, I don't know if she's the head nurse or the head doctor, but that freaking...
Yeah.
Bitch. Mm-hmm. Oh. Also, Morpheus is in this movie.
He has hair.
Honestly, it's like I had watched The Matrix as a teenager, so I don't know why I didn't remember that he was in this movie.
He looks very different.
Yeah. He looks a lot younger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
But
he
yeah,
popped up on the screen, and I was like, Morpheus.
yeah. But I don't know, and it's like I really like the how the one doctor does start to believe and is actually on their side. Like, he just legitimately wants to help them.
Well, if nothing else, even if he doesn't fully believe, he's like, if it'll give all of them peace of mind and help in the healing process and get them to process it and move on easier and faster, then why not try it? Like, the worst that could happen is it doesn't work and we move on.
Like, I love the fact also that he's like, I believe in science. And then at the end, he's like, crucifix, holy water, give me everything.
Give me all the things.
Yeah.
He's seen some shit and he's like, all right, well, let's do this.
Yeah. Like, I feel like there's a lot of things about this movie that I really like, but the one thing that makes me sad is first it killed off Nancy, which I haven't seen the movie following this one. I've only seen the one where it's like Nancy playing as herself as the actor. Mm-hmm. And then like, you know, so I don't know if they technically, no, there's no way because she had a funeral and everything. So I don't know. But anyways, I was a little bit sad that they killed off Nancy. And then... I do like that they expanded on the lore of Freddy. That was interesting. What was that other piece? Oh, and then the other piece was, I know it's just movie trope horror movie trope at the time, but the nurse like luring Joey in and like just taking off her clothes and just, it's like
they had to have boobs somewhere.
Yeah, it's like, is that really necessary? But
No, it wasn't.
I get it. It's just not my preference. I don't need that in a horror movie. She did have a nice body, and I probably would be entrapped too, but it's like they could have like had her like making out with him and then do it or something. It's like she didn't have to be naked. It's like it was literally just to,
for the screen time.
Yeah. Yep. So that was my only complaint. It's like our complaint on like blood or gore for just the sake of doing it rather than for it being realistic. This is how I feel about like that particular scene.
Yeah.
It's like it's just nudity because they wanted it.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's what I got for entertainment.
So I get this one a 5.75. I don't have the nostalgia glasses that she does. I've actually, before this, I had only seen bits and pieces of this movie. And now having watched it the full way through, I feel like it's largely forgettable. They don't really bring anything new that's interesting and that I feel like they should continue in the other movies. They do add a little bit more lore as far as his backstory, but I feel like, again, it doesn't really add much. Like, it's kind of interesting, but it also, at the same time, doesn't really matter.
Yes, who cares about Freddy's backstory? Because
He's a bad dude, period.
Well, plus in the first movie, they technically explained why he was haunting their dreams and trying to kill them anyways. It's like, that's kind of the whole premise.
Yeah. So the fact that that's how he was born or conceived, it's kind of a so what moment.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's interesting. File that away for, random fact, but otherwise, why do we care? I think it was mostly so they could explain the nun and have a bit of exposition there.
Yeah.
Expand the screen time a little bit. I personally thought that the psychic dream powers of being able to pull others into the same dream or their special abilities in the dream were a bit cheesy.
Yeah.
And
it is a little ridiculous.
It's a bit of an op kind of thing. And more movies got a movie.
Yeah.
Like, that was... The thing that makes Freddy scary, like really scary, is that everyone has to sleep sometime. It's going to happen. Your body needs sleep to function. So if you have to sleep and you know that as soon as you start to dream, he's going to be there and he's going to try to kill you, and there is nothing that you can do to stop it.
Yeah.
That's what makes it scary.
The medicine Nancy was taking, that was pretty interesting.
Yes.
Like, that's kind of how she stayed safe.
I feel like it's not necessarily sustainable. Because
dreaming is a part of, like, our brain processing.
Yes. Your brain does need to do that to process certain things, and especially like your subconscious. It's how you process the events of the day or what all's going on around you in your life. Which says some weird things about us sometimes. But to deprive yourself of that sleep, they weren't very specific on whether or not you still enter like REM sleep, or if you don't quite get to that stage of sleep, but you do get rest.
I mean, if it's anything like sleeping pills that we have here, I mean, they pretty much just make you unconscious. Like, you don't really, at least from what I've been told, they don't really give you like the restorative sleep.
See, and that is definitely not sustainable. Like, your body needs that.
Yep.
Your brain needs the reset. So it just, I don't know. This whole movie, personally, I feel like you could just skip and not really miss anything. So I was honestly bored for some of it. I laughed at some things, but honestly, I will probably end up forgetting most of this movie by next week. So, sorry.
And then I know this is full on like
I know
nostalgic
this is all
laugh for me.
nostalgic for you, but like,
And I've watched the movie multiple times.
yeah,
So
it's just okay. Like, I'm not mad that I saw it, and I don't hate it. I just don't really feel either way about it. If
I
that
guess
makes sense.
like after especially watching the second one, it's kind of funny because it's like they almost were trying to like, okay, let's take a reset and try and go back towards the first one and just forget that the second one happened.
Yeah. You didn't see anything. Honestly, I can't even remember what happened in the second one.
I just know that it had a lot of like homosexual
Yeah.
undertone. Well, I don't think it was even undertones. Like it was just
Overtones.
yeah, overtones. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of, yeah. This one just, I feel like they were reaching on certain things. Because you sit there and wonder, like, why these kids and why now? And I still wonder why now? Like, why this point in time?
yeah. I mean, it's like
It just seems so random.
Nancy did mention that they were the last of the Elm Street kids.
Yeah. But it was
it's
5 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
It was 5 years later when it started happening. So why those particular kids and why that particular time?
Yeah.
So. Also, they had another pervy moment with the other orderly. The one that was like, I've got the keys to the castle.
Oh, yeah, between him and the
receptionist chick.
Oh, well, I was just thinking about the one of the cool badass chick.
Yeah. It was him with her, but between him and then that moment with the receptionist chick, like,
yeah,
they were completely unnecessary and kind of gross points in the movie where you're just like, really, is this necessary?
Yeah, that's just, I don't know what it is about that time of horror movies. They just feel like they have to have that in there.
I don't know, but with him especially, I'm like, why can't he die first?
Yeah.
And then I don't think they ever even really show him again.
No.
So he was completely unnecessary.
Yep. It's bleeding. It's starting.
Where the camera can't even see it.
Yeah, it's back here. I promise it's happening.
Anyway. So.
Yep.
Yeah. It was a lot of movies got a movie moments, some exposition for the sake of exposition, and just honestly kind of bland as far as a Freddy movie goes for me. Not his best. Not his best.
Yeah, but so for realism, oh man, realism's just out the window. Now, okay, let me start with the realistic parts. Yeah. Like I can see, especially teenagers, unfortunately, being in a psychiatric hospital and not being listened to.
Yes.
And having all of these, logical explanations before like jumping to Freddy actually being real.
I could see that too.
Like if Nancy hadn't come, they would have been so fucked.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, most of them died anyways. So
I feel like the main Dr. Guy probably would have started listening to them, but it would have taken another couple of deaths.
Yeah. And then also them betraying the helplessness of the character, like especially like I forgot his name, but the one where his veins were like ripped out and then they're
guy?
like using him. Like, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
A really cool concept. But it's like, man, the fact that they're screaming, trying to like get people's attention, trying to wake him up, and it's like he still died. Like, man.
Dude got through a locked door. Like, he phased through it.
Yeah, but it's not real. They're all having the same, like...
No. Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah. But as far as, like, realism, I mean, technically, I believe they're called lucid dreams. It is possible to have
lucid dreaming.
Dreams that you can control.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Freddy, someone coming to, like, kill you off and stuff...
It can be kind of rare. Some people train themselves how to lucid dream.
Apparently, certain foods can make it easier to.
Yes. Supposedly.
Supposedly, yes.
So, you know.
Yeah.
But for them to be able to do it like that, the movie's got a movie.
Yeah. Also, Freddy being born from, what was it, 1,000?
100
maniacs. That's not how biology works.
No.
And I will give Jess credit.
Thank
She's the
you.
one that mentioned it before we started recording. But, yeah. Anyway, that's what I got for realism. Oh, did I give it a rating?
You didn't.
Shit.
You said it went out the window and that was about it.
Okay, I'll give it a 0.5.
There you go. I agree. Because honestly, like, you can explain away a lot of the movie when they're in the dream, because anything can happen when you're dreaming.
Right.
That's fine. But the things outside of dreaming, like, it makes no sense. And I know that it was the 80s. I know it was 87. But smoking, push pins, sharpened pencils, all in the ward, doors not locked. When some of these kids are supposed to be on, like, suicide watch, basically.
Yeah. Honestly, the one thing that drives me nuts the most is the fact that they marked the girl that was pushed into the TV as suicide. I'm like, how do you do that?
Yes, because she jumped face first into the TV. She's a foot and a half or more off the ground. But sure, total suicide.
Yeah.
There's nothing around her. Like, if there was a step stool or she pushed a chair over there, okay, maybe that's...
But there's nothing. Everything else is intact.
way. That's a random way to commit suicide, but... Sure.
Oh.
God. That makes no sense. I was sitting here watching this movie like... the fuck kind of psych ward is this? And then he later says, like, it's a maximum security ward.
Bullshit.
Sweetie, sweetheart, no. Even for the 80s, no. Absolutely not. I can believe the disgusting perv of an orderly. I wish he had died first, but he wasn't even involved. The doctor guy when he saw the nun in the tower, he had to break open the padlock to get into the tower, which, by the way, that's the same tower that the other kid had jumped off of and killed himself. So, was it padlocked then too? Because that makes at least 2 doors that he got through.
Yeah.
With no tampering. But sure. But he had to break the padlock to get into the tower. And then he doesn't think it's weird that the nun that he's seeing in the tower was in there while the door was padlocked. And he doesn't seem to think, oh, I'm definitely seeing things. No. Logical explanation. Just gonna gloss over it. Don't even think about it. It's fine. Everything's fine. The Bones getting up and fighting.
I mean, I didn't even include that because I think that's kind of a given.
The bones.
And the fact that they could pick him up.
The fact that they could move.
No muscle. Well, move.
There's no ligaments.
Yeah.
There's no tendons, no ligaments, no muscle structure.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's just bones.
But they're haunted bones.
They're bones. I can't. I can't even with this movie. I just can't. I was laughing so hard, irrationally hard at that.
I know. No, honestly, that's a really funny scene.
It was at that point that I was like, I can't even take this movie seriously anymore. I just can't.
Yeah, he just comes up,
can't.
hits them a bunch, and then collapses. And he's like, I'm done.
And I feel like just tossing holy water on the bones doesn't exactly make hollowed ground. I could be wrong, but that doesn't seem like that's how it works. Or putting a crucifix on it. They're holy items. Sure. But the nun said specifically you have to bury the bones on hollowed ground. They're in a salvage yard. The fuck kind of hollowed ground is that?
Yeah.
So that's fun. And the words that were carved into that one kid should have been bleeding more.
Yeah.
So. That's mostly what I got. I stopped writing after a little while. I'm just like, I'm done.
Like, I think the movie is worth a watch, at least. But not everyone's going to enjoy it.
It's okay. It's just
But
there are better Nightmare on Elm Street movies, personally.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, this one's not top tier. This is more like, I feel like watching some Freddy and Carnage and just want it to be ridiculous. Yeah. That's this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah. The second one is if you want the sexual overtones. But yeah. So, thank you everyone for joining us today, and let us know what you thought of the movie. If you'd like to recommend a movie, game, or tea, you can leave us a comment or join our Discord. And if you'd like to keep up to date with their content, you can find our link tree listed below.
And if you'd like to support us monetarily, we have a Teespring and a PayPal, or we have our affiliate link with Republic of Tea available. It does not affect the price of the tea, it just allows us to continue to do what we love. And you can find all of the sites mentioned linked below. But until the next time, guys, stay safe and stay spoopy.
Bye!